It's over. The American middle class has officially been priced out of the new car market. Walk onto any dealership lot and you'll see the evidence everywhere. Thousands of unsold vehicles collecting dust because nobody can afford them anymore. We've reached a breaking point where the average new vehicle costs $49,000. The average truck, $64,000. These aren't luxury vehicles. These are basic transportation that working families need. But when middle-class households earning $110,000 are living paycheck to paycheck, who exactly is supposed to buy these overpriced machines? Vehicle manufacturers have created their own disaster. They've priced out their core customers, the teachers, nurses, electricians, and small business owners who built this country. Now dealerships are drowning in inventory they can't move, while families are forced to keep their old cars running because new ones are financially impossible. Today, I'll expose exactly how bad this crisis has become. From $90,000 family SUVs to $40,000 economy cars, you'll see why the middle class is done with new cars. Let's start with a brutal reality check. To be considered middle class in America today, your household needs to earn $110,000. That's the average. In some states, $70,000 barely qualifies. In California, you need $200,000. Think about that. Two working adults combining their incomes just to reach middle-class status. After taxes and Social Security, that $110,000 becomes maybe $75,000 in your pocket. Now factor in the real costs of living. Your mortgage or rent has skyrocketed. Health insurance takes another massive chunk. Groceries that used to cost $50 now cost $100. Auto insurance alone has doubled in just 2.5 years. By the time you pay for the basics, there's nothing left. Absolutely nothing for a car payment. Most middle-class families are barely staying afloat, stretched thin just covering the essentials. One car repair, one medical bill, and everything falls apart. Yet manufacturers expect these families to take on $1,000 monthly car payments. They've completely lost touch with their customers. The pickup truck used to be the backbone of working America. Plumbers, contractors, farmers, they all relied on affordable trucks to make a living. Those days are dead and buried. Walk onto any Chevy lot and you'll find the most basic Silverado, single cab with steel wheels, priced at $42,000. That's the stripped-down work truck. Move up to a crew cab, the truck most families actually need, and you're staring at $71,000 just for a Chevy. The heavy-duty trucks that working people actually depend on have become completely untouchable. A basic GMC Sierra 2500 with just a gas engine costs $78,000. If you need the diesel that real work requires, that Sierra 3500 Duramax jumps to $91,000. Once you add taxes and fees, you're paying over $100,000 for what used to be a blue-collar tool. Here's the sickest part. These trucks are built in Mexico, where labor costs are 80% cheaper, yet prices keep climbing. They outsource production to save money, then charge American workers luxury car prices for basic trucks. Your plumber can't afford his tools anymore. That's how broken this system has become. Remember when families could afford a vehicle that actually fit their kids? Those days are gone. The family SUV has become a luxury item reserved for the wealthy. A Chevy Suburban, the classic American family hauler, now costs a staggering $90,000 for the high country trim. After taxes and dealer fees, you're into six-figure territory for a vehicle to drive your kids to school. Even the slightly smaller Chevy Tahoe demands $80,000. It's not just GM playing this game. A Ford Expedition Platinum runs over $80,000. The new Toyota Sequoia, $85,000. These aren't exotic luxury brands. These are supposed to be everyday family vehicles. The insanity becomes clear when you do the math. That $90,000 Suburban requires a down payment larger than what these vehicles used to cost in total. The monthly payment, even with good credit, pushes $1,500. For a family already stretched thin, it's impossible. Large families have no options left. They're forced to keep their old vehicles running, cramming kids into cars too small, because manufacturers decided family transportation should be priced like yacht ownership. Here's the ultimate insult to American workers. These overpriced vehicles aren't even made here anymore. Manufacturers moved production to Mexico to save money, then kept raising prices anyway. That $71,000 Silverado has 37% Mexican parts. The engine comes from Mexico. They're saving 80% on labor costs by abandoning American workers, yet somehow the savings never reach the customer. You're paying luxury prices for vehicles built with cheap foreign labor. Toyota moved Tacoma production entirely to Mexico. Ford builds the Maverick, Bronco Sport, and multiple engines south of the border. They all claim it's about efficiency, but we know the truth. It's about maximizing profits while screwing over the same American workers who need these vehicles. The hypocrisy is breathtaking. These companies wave the American flag in their commercials, talk about heritage and tradition, then ship jobs overseas while charging us premium prices for the privilege of buying foreign-made trucks with American badges. This isn't just about economics, it's about betrayal. They abandoned American workers twice, first by sending their jobs away, then by pricing them out of buying the very vehicles they used to build. If you think you can escape to the budget brands, think again. Even the companies that built their reputation on affordability have joined the price gouging party. A basic Honda CR-V now costs $42,000. A Honda Accord, once the definition of sensible transportation, starts at $32,000. Even a Honda Civic, the car that used to be every teenager's first ride, pushes $30,000. These aren't luxury vehicles, they're basic transportation with premium price tags. The situation gets worse with brands like Nissan and Hyundai. A Nissan Rogue runs $41,000. A Hyundai Santa Fe Hybrid hits $52,000. Remember when Korean cars were the cheap alternative? Those days are long gone. A Kia Telluride demands $45,000, and dealers were actually charging markups on Kias during the shortage. Here's the bottom line, there's nowhere left to run. Every manufacturer has abandoned the middle class. The cheapest new car you can find, a stripped Nissan Versa or Mitsubishi Mirage, still costs $25,000 for a car that feels like a tin can with wheels. The affordable car is extinct. Every brand has decided that only the wealthy deserve new vehicles. Let's talk about the financial death sentence of modern car payments. The average new car payment has exploded to over $750 per month. But that's the average. The reality is much worse. Buy that $71,000 Chevy Silverado and you're looking at $1,500 every month. The $90,000 Chevy Suburban hits $2,000 monthly. These used to be Ferrari payments. Now it's what they expect teachers and nurses to pay just to get to work. The math is devastating. That middle-class family making $110,000 per year might have $2,000 left each month after taxes and living expenses. One car payment wipes it out completely, but most families need two vehicles, which means they're going into debt just to drive to work. Interest rates make it worse. At 7% for new cars, 11% for used, you're paying tens of thousands in interest alone. That $50,000 vehicle becomes $70,000 by the time you pay it off. Manufacturers priced vehicles so high that monthly payments now rival mortgage payments. They've turned basic transportation into a luxury that crushes family budgets. Manufacturers refuse to understand a simple truth. This isn't sustainable. You can't price out your entire customer base and expect to survive. Look at any dealership lot, and you'll see they're overflowing with unsold inventory while sales plummet month after month. They've created a market designed only for the wealthy, but there simply aren't enough rich buyers to keep an entire industry afloat. The middle class has already made their choice. They're stretching old cars through another year, sharing rides, doing anything to avoid these crushing payments. Once you force people out of the market, they don't come back easily. The automotive industry is destroying itself by abandoning the working families who made them successful. Until they remember who their real customers are, those lots will keep filling with overpriced metal that nobody can afford.